talking to Will Masteller today. Will, between boxing and you've been a part of the film productions here with me in the past, but obviously I'm going to say you like boxing a little bit more. So let's start off with a boxing conversation. Let's just introduce yourself to the audience.
So my name is William Masteller. I've been boxing probably since I was about 21. I lived in Berwick. I lived in the area since I was 11. I was born in Queens, New York. I moved around a little bit when I was a kid, and kind of settled into Berwick when I was about 11. And went to Berwick High School, went to Berwick Middle School. Kind of grew up with Donnie a little bit. We played what was that, baseball, midget baseball? I don't even know what it's called.
Yeah, it's not T-ball. It's just Little League, I believe.
Little League baseball. Yeah, that's how long it's been. So we played baseball together and stuff. So
back when I was good at sports, yes.
Yeah, back when we were, still had all of our hair and our hairlines were still, all together.
Oh, it's getting rough. It's getting real rough.
Yeah, I'm glad I still got mine. But, so now I'm 25. I turned 26 in April, so, I'm getting old. I'm getting a little older. Starting to feel the little pains, the aches, when you're younger. The old people were like, yeah, you'll see. So, yep, that's pretty much it.
Well, you're looking good. You look still like you're in shape. So how long has it been since you boxed last? And how do you keep up that, routine to get yourself still, in shape to go?
So, yeah, the motivation, the ambition, to keep going is definitely, it's a consistent battle because, people always ask, so what do you like about boxing? What makes you keep doing it? And I'm like, honestly, I don't really know, because you go to practice and you get beat up, you fight and you get beat up. Everything you do, you're pretty much getting beat up. But it's more so just the reward of, the hard work and being able to be a presence and being able to be a role model to, kids who are looking up to, the older people to see, what do I need to do to be successful? What do I need to do to, become the person I'm supposed to be? And we all know, sitting on the couch and laying around is not going to do the job. So I guess what keeps me motivating and keeps that drive going for me is just, being an example. That's kind of how I got into boxing. The Rocky's Boxing Gym opened, I think, 3 or 4 years ago. And I seen a commercial on TV, and, I seen the kids in there, and, I just thought that, I felt like I had a calling, so to speak. And, we talk about religion and God, and, I believe God has a purpose for us. And prior to that, I actually broke my neck. And I think that was a wake-up call where he said, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So, and then it just kind of, I seen the commercial, I felt the calling, and then that's kind of how I got into the boxing. So that's kind of what keeps me going, just the to be a role model to these younger kids and stuff. But I got personal goals. I want to try to be the best I can be, and I really didn't get into the boxing community to be a boxer. I just got into it to help out the community and help out the kids, and then the competitive nature kind of took over. So, that's kind of it. And then I ended up, transition from where I started at Berwick. I ended up moving to Philly for, 6 months. I was there, what they call the dungeon or the dog house. Those are some of the top level guys there. I go there, got beat up, got knocked around, got knocked out a few times. But I was, fighting some of the best, and it, I really put into motion what I needed to do to be, one of the best. And, kind of was it was another wake-up call to realize, maybe this isn't my path to try to be the best boxer, but to kind of double back to why I started, and was just kind of be a role model and help out kids. So that's really, the whole purpose of why I do the boxing. And just, I also, like you said, I look good and everything. I try to keep in shape. I try to look good, and I want to stay healthy. It's more so for the health rather than, the competition anymore.
Well, I'm going to ask you a little bit about maybe how you, keep your figure and, stay in shape, and if you have a dieting plan at all, and if you want to reveal some secrets to the audience. But first, since I've known you, for as long as I've known you, you've always had your head on your shoulders pretty well.
Yeah,
but boxing as a sport, though, because you listen to all these interviews, and the boxers and the UFC fighters, they say it humbles you, the sport. Mm-hmm. So has boxing helped you grow at all?
Most definitely, in all aspects, I think, and not only with boxing, but as a competitor and multi-sport athlete growing up in high school and things like that. Just the structure of those programs, teamwork, hard work. I mean, you could not work hard, and when it comes to competitive sports, you're going to get your butt kicked. So you kind of don't have an option. You either get your butt kicked or you worked hard, and you still might get your butt kicked, but at least you won't get it kicked as bad. And just as far as the dieting and those things go, I try to eat clean. I know I had McDonald's on the way here, which was definitely not a good move, but it happens. We all have our cheat days.
You got to cheat one of the days.
Yeah, you gotta let loose. And even with the caffeine, I try to stay away from caffeine. But I have a coffee this morning and stuff like that. So it just comes down to moderation. You can have that McDouble or that McChicken, and you can have that coffee, but when it comes to an everyday thing, that's when you start to see, digression. So, just that moderation. But so the things that I like to do, it's just that in the morning I try to drink. I drink a cup. As soon as I wake up, I got a cup of water right next to my bed. I just chug that water before I go to bed. I chug water. It keeps your metabolism going, keeps everything kind of cleared out. And then intermediate fasting I kind of get involved into whenever it's close to competition time. I try to do that to lose weight and also to stay healthy, because cutting weight, say you got a fight and your fight's in 7 days and you're 10 pounds overweight, it's probably not a healthy way to cut weight. 10 pounds in 7 days is not probably the best way to do it. So, just maintaining a healthy diet, drinking plenty of water. I mainly just drink water. I don't drink soda. I really don't drink too much coffee unless I have to. As far as fast food, sugars, eliminate all your sugars, like bread's like such an empty food. It doesn't really give you any benefits. And also GMOs, genetically modified organisms. You have like blueberries or you have bananas, and a lot of people think, oh, you want the biggest ones, right? You want the biggest bananas, you want the biggest blueberries. That's not actually, you think it's better for you, but it's actually not. The little banana that's this big and the big banana, they actually have the same nutritional value. So, little things like that, one, are good for you. You don't have to chew as much because the food's not as big. And 3, you actually save money because usually they go by the poundage. So those are like just little tricks and stuff like that. And I do use a lot of herbs, like spices and things like that. And tea and honey is it's my bread and butter, tea and honey. Yep. So those are couple little tricks, I guess.
I see a lot of these posts you post on social media. I can tell you're all over the place. Mm-hmm. And obviously that's part of your business that you're in and like your career. Yeah. But where has the best? Well, let me start with, how do you personalize your Instagram? Are you somebody that actually likes to personalize your Instagram, or just post like good stuff just to post good stuff?
So when you say personalize, you mean like give it?
Yeah. Do you try to because I see a lot of your boxing posts and your workout posts, but do you what do I want to say? Do you categorize it somewhere? Like, do you have a theme with your Instagram, or do you just post whatever you feel is really good?
I guess it's a little bit of both, but my theme, if you had it, say a theme, I'm not super organized when it comes to like, this day I'm going to post this day I'm going to post this. Kind of sporadic in the moment type of stuff. But the theme would, just to generate positivity, to spread inspiration, motivation. And once again, I believe in, a higher power. So I try to put that out there, and just try to help people. Some people are, I think a lot of people are looking for answers. A lot of people are lost, and you never know. You might just post something. You might say something that connects with that person, and it might, be what they were looking for. So if you had to say what my theme was, it would just be to try to help other people. And I like to post because they're really cool pictures and things like that. But that's just the secondary benefit of why I do it.
Do you have a favorite place you visited lately?
I've been a lot of places.
and of course, what I admire about your Instagram too, and especially your Snapchat, is you post all these historical places too. Like, you're going to the Capitol buildings, you're going to museums and all these historical the manors and stuff like that. Yep. So I just wanted to know, do you have a specific place? Because like when you were out in Kentucky, I believe, Kentucky was a beautiful place that you were posting about. And of course, I'm always jealous when you're down in Florida. So
yeah, everybody is. Oh, have fun in Florida, enjoy the warm weather, But it's actually surprising at this time of the year. The warm weather you don't really get it until you get probably past Orlando or into Fort Lauderdale, which from here is, I don't know, about 1,400 miles. And I don't usually go that far south, but the weather is definitely a little bit more bearable. But as far as my favorite place, I've probably been to maybe 20 states. I've been to the whole East Coast and to the Midwest. I'm actually going out to Iowa, I think, later this week. But, I don't know if I could say I had a favorite place, but I could give you a countdown. And, maybe there's like a close tie. But Nashville is one of my favorite places. And, as far as the history goes, it has a lot of, historical content. They have all the old courthouses and the, original federal buildings and things. But so, I gauge it, the layout of the land. What do they have historically, and how's it laid out? The town's laid out nice. The roads are nice. There's not a lot of traffic. All the buildings are articulated in a good way, and they give plenty of space for people. It's not just all clustered together like most cities. And then next, I look for the people. What's the quality of the people? Everybody there is friendly. Everybody's there nice. People are saying hi. People are opening the doors for you. That was one thing I liked in Nashville. And the general atmosphere of when you go to the city, there's things to do. There's a lot of a variety of things to do. It's not just like around here. You got bowling, you got movies. I don't know what else is there to do.
All your typical stuff for all the other states. But there's not a lot in this small town specifically. Mm-hmm. We do have a lot of history here, but it's not to the extent of like a Capitol building or whether it's like a Civil War monument or anything in that aspect.
Like national history, It's just kind of small, which actually is interesting that you say that, because I was talking to somebody about Berwick and Coach Curry, and I thought, with that history, I'm like, they put up statues of, people that made a real difference. And I was thinking, why don't we have a statue of George Curry, of Coach Curry? Because where is Berwick and where is Berwick football without George Curry?
Yeah.
And I think, with that being said, his influence was inspirational. He brought people up. He made people better than they thought they were themselves. And I think just the constant, those things are, those memorials and things, and even if they're not necessarily positive, it's a part of history for you to reflect on and think, this is where we came from. And so you just have to decide how you want to use that history. You want to use it in a positive way. You want to say, this happened because this happened, we're going to go in this direction. Or are you going to, backtrack and use it as an excuse, like, oh, this happened, so I can't do this. I think anybody who looks at George Curry is going to get, that's not going to be a negative inspiration. Mm-hmm. So that's why, I really value those things.
For as much as George cared about football and the community, it was always about helping kids, even if they weren't like the star of the team, still getting them the scholarships, still going on pursuing their education, because that was really important to him. So
countless, kids he helped all across the boards, and it wasn't only people from Berwick. Mm-hmm. He helped people from the surrounding schools, surrounding areas. He just make a phone call, get on the phone with somebody, and make it happen. I got so and so, and he plays this position, and he just he'd lay out a pathway, and he'd give you the tools, and you just need to use them. And that's kind of what it's all about, that guidance. And we all have a lot of tools, we just got to use them.
Let's go back to boxing a little bit, because now it's been about 1.5 to 2 years since Fight For Me's been out. Mm-hmm. So of course that was the first time that you have been in one of my films. Yep. So what was it like being on set, working with me, working with the other cast and crew? Can you take us back to any of those moments, like what you thought about then compared to now?
Well, I was definitely excited. It was my first, like you said, it was my first.
And then I ruined your excitement.
Yeah, the excitement started going down once we got the film cut. Take 2, take 3, take 4. But that's part of the industry. But it was fun. I really enjoyed acting out the role, getting punched in the face and, spitting, act like I got knocked out and stuff like that. That was fun to me. It was more fun because I wasn't actually getting knocked out. So I enjoyed that. But it was overall a really good experience, and in one way or another, I wanted to get, into photography or some type of film. So it was kind of a blessing. You were came in my life when I was looking for, to be in something that you offered. So it worked out.
And we're still working on North Strand too, and I was going to talk a little bit about North Strand now. North Strand, and this, it's spoiler-ish, but we'll talk about it to the audience. I do plan on bringing you back, and what it is, we're rewriting the script a little bit, and it's going to be in mini-series.
Okay.
So, and I'm not going to reveal how, but we're still going because for what we filmed, we still have quite a bit of stuff, and we'll just wait for the next snowstorm here or whatever, and I'll pass some script over to you. But you were the first person, and we talk about you a lot on Shield of Hope because you were the first person that I ever gave a script to that wrote me back like 5 pages of how their actor should act.
Yeah, I was like, I think we should do this. I think we should do this, and then I was like,
you were so into it, and I loved it, and there was a lot of things that we did change, and a lot of things moving on in the script that we didn't get to film yet.
Okay.
But there's a lot of things moving forward.
Oh, really? See, I didn't know that, so I sent you that, and this is the first time I'm hearing back that, because I know at first, which I understand, it was like a little bit of resistance, because you're like, this is my vision. And I'm like, well, this is my vision, and so, it's like, but I get it, this is your thing, so I have to, I'm going to respect your vision, and I do appreciate the reciprocating that, you took into account what I said, and now you actually implement it, so that's pretty cool.
I'm not one to change a lot of lines per se when it comes to like people giving feedback. Like lines to me, like because half of the lines that I do and give the actors, like they do improv on set, and then sometimes I'll give it to them because they know their character, and then there's other times I'm like, okay, we got to pull back a little bit. Yeah. For mystery ones like Visions of Truth, I was not picky at all in the lines, but when it came, because Visions of Truth was more of those was a film that was like a crime drama, so he had to say certain things to piece it together because they were pulling words together. Mm-hmm. So when the actors went off a little bit from that, I was like, you do have to say this one word, Yeah. Other than that, you have like free leeway. So that was never an issue. But with yours though, I like how you built a background to yourself, because like I didn't give you much of a backstory, because when I do my short films, there's not a lot of backstory to things. It's when we meet the character A, sometimes we find a little bit of flashbacks, but it's till they reach B, which is the final result. And with being a short film, there's not a lot you can do, because like there's days I'll just sit on my computer and start the short film, and then all of a sudden it's like 30 pages later, I'm over here like,
gotta cut this.
Well, I was like, do I hold on to this to make it a feature? It's like, because it's good, but I was like, at the same time, we're only a channel that can produce short films. We don't have the budget for that, so then you cut it back. And it feels like you just like get your heart ripped out of you. It's like you lose half that character, half the motivations. But
yeah. So
what do you think about social media? Like, do you think it affects people, or do you think it is actually like a positive?
Well, that's a little controversial, right? I don't know if you see on Netflix, they have the social media.
Social Dilemma?
Yeah, social Dilemma or something like that. I haven't watched it, but everybody says if you watch it, change your whole life. They're like, don't watch it because you're not going to want to use social media. And so my take on that, and I would assume that if people feel that way, then, the social media presence is not positive, because if it was positive, why would you not want to use it then? But I do think, everything comes, everything's created to be positive for the most part. The structures are created to help people out, but then what happens is they get abused. They become abused, and they become overused, and then they become, essentially an addiction. And I think social media, this is the controversial part, because doctors and people like that want to say it's almost a disease. Like your social media usage is a disease, which, a disease is something that is almost out of your control, where social media is not out of your control. You choose when you put your phone on, you choose what you go on. Like, you ultimately have the freedom to choose what you do. And I think in moderation, again, social media isn't a bad thing. If you use it to connect with people and, stay in touch with family, and then, business members, I know with your industry, you use social media a lot to kind of expand your horizons and reach out to people. And, that comes with the movie business. And that's really the best way. I mean, any business in general, the best and the easiest way to connect. Your goal is to connect with as many people as possible.
Yes. And
social media, you're able to do that. And so I think that what we need to come up with is alternatives. Right now, we only really have, Instagram, and we have Facebook, and we have Google. We have, like, a very slim selection of these outlets. So if we can create more variety, and if that variety comes into play as more of a positive influence, I think that's where social media will kind of take a turnaround.
I was going to ask you, because I'm glad that you brought up the variety. We're just two people just brainstorming here, basically, when it comes down to this. We don't know anything really behind how they build these networks and whatever. But is there a network that you would like to see, whether it's like independent local sporting events, like whether there's just like a channel devoted to that, like a thing where you can, and I understand they have like that stuff for like high school athletics, you can submit your videos into like this big folder for people to watch. But I mean, just any type of platform. What would be the perfect platform for you? Like personally, what's something that you could get into?
So my ideal platform, which actually I've talked about, what it I want it to be, so you have the people that overlook the platforms. I don't the moderators. They're called moderators, and so I would like to create a platform with a theme, and I want the theme to be definitely want it to have relation to God. And I want it to have whether you call I want it to have relation to a higher power. I want the people on that platform to have the same morals, the same ideals and things like that. And with that being said, with who God is and what He represents, we don't just forget other people. Like we're like, oh, you don't believe in this, so we're just gonna forget about you. I love to bring those people on, but you know how it is. If you got a crowd of 5 bad apples and you bring a sixth one, the sixth one's probably gonna turn into a bad apple. So, but if you have 5 good apples and the sixth one's a bad apple, which that's not logically wouldn't happen with apples, but hopefully then that apple would turn into a good apple. So we're hopefully trying to create a positive platform with moderators that are looking for positive things, and not only not the censorship, but so to speak, things that people don't want to talk about, things that are censorship, but just for that platform to bring out the truth and essentially bring out better things in people. I don't know if you follow David Goggins by chance.
I don't. I'm not familiar with him.
So he's kind of, I think he's more of he might have been around for a couple years or whatever, but he created a platform. This dude's absolutely insane. He runs like ultra marathons. He runs like 100-mile marathons, and then he'll run, 1 week later he'll do it again and stuff like that. But so he created a platform where he only, accepts people that are like-minded, that want to work hard. And his thing is, get hard. He wants to get people on there ready to get hard. And so, to have that mindset and stuff. And so his moderators, though, if there's any type of negativity, if there's any type of people that are on there that are like, oh, you shouldn't do this, you're working too hard, they just get booted right away. So essentially, if you could get a platform that could keep it positive and keep it real and keep it truthful, regardless if those conversations are a little controversial, you want that stuff. You want to talk about that stuff. You don't want to censor that stuff. You want to have people thinking critically. You want to have them thinking creatively, and you want to have them thinking outside of the box. Right now, the platforms we have, you can't do that. You get censored. You can't put things on there that, we all know the stuff that you can't and can put on there. And we've all seen people that put things on there that are true, and then for some reason they get censored, and then some of them even get taken off. They get completely booted off of those platforms. So I don't think that's, right at all. So if we can get a platform that does the right thing.
Yeah, and cancel culture is running very rampant nowadays in the United States and across the world. Yeah. I always said that I never agreed with cancel culture, whether it's like whatever your ideology is. I don't care. I don't want to see anybody canceled in freedom of speech and be canceled either. Exactly. I said the proper way to do it is to boycott something, because it's just saying, listen, I'm not putting my money towards something. Exactly. And it is a way of canceling, but it's also a way of having an influence, because regardless, we still live in the world. Money changes minds, as I like to say. So when you see these big platforms start losing money, the advertisers start dropping, then it puts them in perspective whether they still want to agree with what they preach, or whether they want to go, come back to the real world. Yeah. So I always, and we talk about cancel culture a little bit, but I think we did cover that, going down that route just a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. But let's wrap it up on a positive note. So what are your goals in 2021? Because we're still in January, so you still got 11 more months to complete these goals. But what are your goals going into this year, and where do you see yourself in the future?
So 2021, we're just getting going into it. I got a lot of goals. I set goals every year, every month. I have goals every week, every day even. And they could be as simple as waking up and opening the door for somebody. My brothers live with me, just trying to be a good influence, and not, if they make me mad, not swearing them out or something like that. Some simple goals. But I also have long-term goals. Coming into this year, I wanted, one of my goals was to become a professional boxer. But in reality, and as I get older, which I don't want to admit this, but my body's been taking some beatings, and I'm starting to feel them. And so my goals have kind of adjusted to how I age and those things. But I definitely, my major goal essentially is just to, do the right thing every single day, no matter what it is, tell the truth, work hard, and, just be a positive influence no matter which way it is. My other goals would be obviously North Strand is try to get that completed. I know we've been set back with the COVID. The snowstorms haven't really, worked in our favor.
We're going to Canada.
Oh, yeah.
You
got the
We're
plane.
go to the Providence.
You got the helicopter, right? You got a helicopter to come to pick us up.
I don't know. Well, with that one, we couldn't really fly it, but we were going to green screen around it to make it look like it was in the air.
Yeah.
So there's some things that we're going to do. Plus, we're working more with effects. I have an intern starting with us next month, so I'm very excited about that. So we'll get more podcasts out. We'll get more videos out, and I think the audience will enjoy it. And again, there's more future projects that I might even look forward to having you on as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully, sometimes shorter. I don't want, especially with North Strand, that's been drug out because of the COVID and all these situations. Mm-hmm. I'm going to try to do more. Like back in 2018, we put out 2 short films, which I've always wanted to do 3 short films a year.
Yep.
But, between getting everybody together, it's hard to do all this, especially nowadays.
Yep.
But we shot, which I said the perfect model was, we did a mile apart in a week. We filmed that whole film in a week, got it out 2 weeks later, editing and all that. So it was done in a week. And then Agendas, we filmed in a 7-day period and got that out in like a month or 2.
Yeah,
so
that's a lot of work in a short time.
It is, but they were also scripts that were able to be shot very quickly.
Mm.
They weren't. There wasn't a lot of detail behind them. It was just basically the moral of the story is led the way. Between whether it was a father and daughter, the father reconnecting with his daughter after all these years, or whether it was Agendas, which has always been my interpretation of Agendas. A lot of people watch the movie and they're like, man, that was a really good short film. I love the action. I was like, yeah, but it goes to show you when Max's character died, spoiler alert for anybody, but when Max's character died to Jimmy, it showed that Max still, being the younger generation, still having, a pure heart yet and not conforming to the ways of the world. Like, he didn't conform to his job.
Yeah.
So that was those are moralistic stories I try to tell on this channel as well. Now, Before the Fallen Leaves, I don't really know what the moralistic story behind that was. We kind of just had a revenge plot going on there and testing out action. Yeah. But that test was a lot for Agendas 2 when that comes out, because we are working on Agendas 2, trying to get that out there.
So Agendas 2 should be better than Agendas 1 then.
That was the
test run, so it should be.
It's gonna have a different story, so I think everybody's gonna be excited about it.
Yeah, but I like the Agendas one. Like you said, with the plot, the overall plot. Regardless of some people don't maybe necessarily think the screenplay the best, but we're not in Hollywood. You can't. That equipment is, I don't even know how much. You're getting into a lot of money there.
Piled over many years because I cannot afford it at once.
Yeah, you're just fresh out of college yet, But that's more so too. Why I got pulled into this is your mindset and the morality on why you make the videos, and they have very important storylines, and if you really listen to them, I think they touch base with a lot of people that may be going through with what you depict in the movie. So I'm excited to see with North Strand. I think it has a lot of that realistic aspects of just everyday life, and you can watch the movie and you can think I feel like that happened to me before. You can relate to the movie, which is always nice. Mm-hmm. But yeah, back to my goals. I definitely want to we're gonna finish North Strand. Hopefully by the end of this year. We gotta wait. We might have to go to Canada, like you said, or go to the North Pole or something. But we're gonna get it done. We'll get it done, and other than that, it's just being consistent every day, just doing the things that I got to do day in and day out. And those things can change day to day, but I mean, usually it's just working out. There's no secret. People are always asking, what's the secret? What's the secret? There is no secret. It's just doing the things you typically don't want to do. Get out of bed in the morning, get up for work. When you're hungry and you're driving past the fast food place, but your house is 10 minutes away, but fast food's right there. Not stopping at fast food and just waiting those 10 minutes until I get home so I can make a fruit smoothie or something like that. Keeping my diet healthy, and just one of my major goals, I would say, out of all the rest, are helping building positive relationships and trying to get more involved, because I think you're more like me, and I think Mike's like me. And a lot of people, you're not necessarily extroverts, you're more of an introvert, so it's a little bit more difficult to kind of get out, put yourself out there. Some other people, some people, and they're energetic. They just get out there. You're like, wow, these people are incredible. I wish I had that enthusiasm. Even coming here today was like, which, it took a little bit to get here, but even I was having second thoughts. I'm a little nervous though. I want to do this, but, once again, I thought I'm going to get outside of my comfort zone. I'm just going to get involved. and it's definitely a pleasure, to be here with you. A pleasure to be here with Mike. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to get involved, and I'm excited to see what Hope of Shields. I'm excited to see what you have in store for not only for your company but the people who get involved. I think you're going to create a better way, and you'll create a better life for people that are trying to do the same thing that you're doing.
Will Masteller, everybody. Thank you, Will, for joining us today.
Yes, sir. It was good talking to you.